Good evening, all of you. Thanks, Nagaraj, for the wonderful introduction. It's been a truly varied journey for me. I think it's a big stage here, fewer chairs occupied. That always comes with doing it towards the end of the day. Thanks for being here. We also bunked classes long back, to move off. So really appreciate all of you being here towards the end of the day. So we had a mix of technology and business sessions today. So I'm purely from the business side, so when we were having this discussion on what is data differential, I was just thinking. So how I see it is, data differential is in terms of what do you do with the data, how do you use the data, what is the business opportunity or business challenge for which you are using the data, right? Because we have all heard about multiple data sources, big data, challenges in managing data. Data integrity and all that stuff. It's all great, but why do you do all of that? It needs to have some, some outcome which can be quantified. So, and that outcome in my experience has been, what is the business opportunity for which you are using the data? Once you have identified that, then if you can use the data to tap that opportunity, then you end up having a better ROI, a return on investment on any investment. And if any one of us were to look around what's happening in the financial world in the last, say, few months, nobody's going to be happy to write out a check for an investment in any BI or analytics project or in terms of hardware or any such investment. A lot of questions are going to be asked. And these questions are going to be in terms of, okay, what is the ROI? What if I don't invest? What do I lose? What do I get if I invest? And I think the power of data, the smartness in using the power of data is in terms of what do you do with it. How do you achieve the business objectives which matter to the organization? How do you differentiate yourself from your competitor in terms of what you do with the data? So over the next half an hour, I'm going to share my experiences in terms of what we have seen in terms of the evolution of data, how we have seen data being used, missed opportunities in terms of data not being used, and our experiences through ABIBA in terms of a cross-section of customers in the telecom world. What are they doing right? What are they probably not doing right in terms of data? So this is telecom today. The scenario is pretty, it's a great journey for us. Some of us, who joined telecom 15 years back, we used to be very happy when we did 1,000 additions in a month. And today, if you see, we are adding about 10 million customers in a month across India. So the scale is completely unimaginable. So how has this, it has come along with its own challenges. You have huge number of competition. Most people use multiple SIMs, very little loyalty. The rates are very low, as low as probably 5 paise per minute. And in fact, today morning, one of my relatives was saying that NTS has a scheme where for 15 years, you get free MTS to MTS calls. Now, 15 years is too long, right? We don't know, we've seen telecom ministers come and go into jail and all that happening in a matter of months. 15 years is too long. But that's the reality, that's where the market is heading. So what does it mean? It means that voice is a commodity. You can't differentiate yourself on voice. So you can either see it as a challenge, or you could look to see, okay, how do I make it an opportunity? What do I do next? Because as telecom operators, they have tons of data, millions and millions of records, right? So huge amount of knowledge which is lying hidden in those volumes of data. So business opportunity is there in terms of using that to enhance revenues. So I recently picked up a smartphone, okay, and then I realized you need to be at least smart to use this. The first time a call came, I didn't figure out how to pick up the call, because I was used to pressing, but here I think you need to do something called a sweep, right? So it takes a bit of getting used to it. But my experience was, the first time I used this, within an hour, I got a call from the operator saying, okay, welcome. You use the 3G services for the first time, right? How was your experience? You are now on a pay-as-you-use plan. Do you want to move to a daily rental or monthly rental or something? We used to do it 10 years back, but we used to do it after 1 month. Because that's when we would realize that there is somebody who started using a new service. So today it happens in an hour, and see the difference it can make. The first time I use, if somebody is calling me and saying, hey, you're using it the first time, if you use as it is, you're going to probably pay, say, 500 rupees in a month. But here is a plan which you pay 100 rupees in a month and you get the same services. It's great, right? So data is definitely being used by the operators. But then when I look through, I've been a customer for probably 4 years. This is the first time I'm using 3G, but I've been using GPRS for a long time. I've surfed the net, I've accessed my mails, I've been roaming. But I haven't got a single call in the last 4 years encouraging me to move to a 3G phone. 3G was launched about a year back, right? So I think there is an opportunity missed, because when they look at my profile, they would see I'm a traveler, I'm a business customer, I use internet, but I'm still not on 3G. Why? Because I'm not having a 3G phone. So is there a way they could, get in touch with me and try and, offer me upselling to a 3G phone, a 3G service, right? So while we have moved a lot in terms of how we use data, there's still a lot more which can be done. And I think that's where the data differential comes in terms of how much smarter you are in using your data, customer data, business data compared to the others. These are some stats which clearly indicate that there's not much of revenue opportunity or profitability opportunity when it comes to voice. Right? Rates are as low as 40 paise. And how can you differentiate yourself on voice? A voice is a voice. Yeah, you can have a better network. You can allow calls to be made while you're in a lift or a basement or inside such a campus like this. But I think competition can do it as well. But there is a possibility of differentiation when it comes to value-added services. So my theme today is going to be on, I chose value-added service as an area where the data can be used. You can leverage the power of data to enhance the business. And as I said, the important thing is finding a business opportunity to use the data, right? And we find in value-added service, as I go through my slide, you would recognize that there is opportunity. There's a clear business case for investing in analytics in terms of improving the value-added services market. And how do you know there is a potential? You look at global trends across the globe. We're trying to present two things here. What is the penetration? That is, as a percentage of population, how many are having phones? And then you see more than 100% in many countries. In fact, I'm told that in Dubai the penetration is about 250%. I mean, what does it mean? It basically means that people have more than one connection. There are a lot of travelers who come in and go out who also have connections, right? When we say penetration in India is about 70%, it obviously doesn't mean 70% of the population have phones, because 40% of them are below 12 years old. So, and maybe another 10% is above 75, 80, right? So what it means is we have multiple SIMs and we go by connections. So maybe if I look at the penetration here, it could be more than 150% because some of you may be having two connections, right? But what it means is as penetration goes up, differentiation in voice comes down. So operators need to find another way of making a difference. And what is that? Where share. The value-added services share of revenue is about 25 to 30% in all these matured markets, right? And we are at about 10% in India. So there is a business case because we know penetration is going to touch close to 90 in the next 2 years. So there is a lead indicator to us that, yeah, okay. Another stats, when the penetration moved up from 120 to 130 over the course of the last 2 years, the share of value-added services in revenue has gone up by 10%. Now it's not just a function of the penetration. This is about the time when Apple came out with iPhone, right? The smartphones came into the market. 3G services were introduced. In fact, I was reading an interesting statistic that in the US market, AT&T was consistently losing customers till about mid of 2008. Consistently, every quarter on quarter they were having negative additions. And you see the stats, there's a big spike from the third quarter of 2008. AT&T didn't do anything great in terms of their network, products, services, no. iPhone came on board. It was an exclusive tie-up with AT&T for 2 years. So immediately it meant AT&T started getting customers, right? For the past 12 quarters, they've been consistently adding customers. But once the exclusive tie-up ended, Verizon was able to offer iPhone, T-Mobile was able to offer iPhone in US. The net additions have dropped in the last 2 quarters. So it shows that the external factors, choosing the right kind of a partner can make a big difference to your business. So coming back to this theme, you've seen the share of value-added service go by about 10%. Our penetration is about 56-60%. The share of value-added service is about 11%. So when is inflection going to happen in India? Next year? 2 years' time? But it's definitely going to happen. And why is it going to happen? Because we are having a plethora of services, right? In terms of social networks, in terms of internet, in terms of advanced value-added services, games, in terms of m-commerce. And just give you an idea, Nagaraj mentioned about our experience with emerging markets. There's an operator in Kenya called Safaricom. They have what is called M-Pesa for the last 3-4 years. It is basically m-commerce. What they have done is they have used the wide retailer network in Africa, in Kenya, to essentially act as financial intermediaries. So what happens is, Kenya is no similar to say Bihar, where a lot of people from Bihar come and work in Mumbai, right? And we have these informal channels in India. The person working in Mumbai gives the money to somebody in Mumbai, and it is getting delivered in their house in Orissa or in Bihar. M-Pesa works a similar way. So what they have done is, the retailer acts as a financial intermediary. I am working in Nairobi, but my family is somewhere out. So I pay money to the retailer in Nairobi, and my family can go and collect it, wherever they live, right? And the financial charge is about 10 to 15% of the banking charges. So it's a lot more cost effective. Plus the banking network is very limited in Kenya. It's unlike India, where you have pretty much a banking network wherever you go. So what Safaricom has done is, they saw an opportunity, they saw what they own. What do they own? They own the retailer network. They own the handset, right? So they've used that to offer a very innovative service, which in the last 4 years has made them the undisputed market leader in Kenya. To an extent where, in the last 1 year, Airtel has launched in Africa, right? They took over Zain, launched in Africa. They have cut the rates to almost 25% of the old rates. They have made inroads in many markets. It's like Zambia, Uganda, they have tried to make inroads. But in Kenya, they are not able to move because the retailers don't want to sell anything other than M-Pesa, other than Safaricom. Because they make more money from transferring money than from selling SIM cards and recharge vouchers. So the game changer for Kenyan market has been M-Pesa, and everybody is now talking of m-commerce. Airtel is talking of it, Vodafone is talking of it, but the first mover, Safaricom, is really way ahead, and that is somewhere differentiator could come in terms of how do you use your customer data. Maybe they saw that their customer data had a lot of people who were staying in cities but talking to people in villages, and then they put one and one together and said, oh, maybe there's an opportunity for financial services. So VAS is the future. There are some stats. No presentation from a business guy is complete without stats, so you need to just bear with me.